signal.
Well, in one meeting, I accidentally elbowed you. That was a very
Testing. That was me.
You're there.
Good morning. Welcome to the June 22nd, 2023 Oklahoma City Airport Trust meeting. I'll now call this meeting to order. Item 2 on the agenda is the approval of the previous minutes. If there's no questions or comments, we can take a motion. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And the item passes. Brings us to item 3 on the agenda, the director's report. Director Mulder.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. So there are some attached reports in the meeting packet. I had a couple slides I wanted to go over and highlight some things going on at the airport. And so while we're waiting for that to come up, there we go. It was there. There we go. Start with the first slide, it's fine. So a couple things I wanted to highlight. These are just some photos from some work we've been doing with Convention and Visitors Bureau. And this is the tunnel to the parking garage, which forever has had just lots of white walls on it. And so this is an example of one of the things they put up, obviously highlighting Oklahoma City and what's going on in our region. So next slide. It's another one of the wall wraps that was put up there. And next slide. And then this is one of the banners there on the secure side in the concourse that is a nice welcome to Oklahoma City. So I wanted you guys to see that. Those have gone up recently. And then a number of elevator doors. This was a style, and there's other various styles that show that. But, those have all gone up recently. This is a photo of a construction project that we have going on right now at the airport. And we're reconstructing the outbound roadway from the terminal area. And I wanted to highlight this because we had an incident the other day, a couple weeks ago, where a construction trailer associated with the project was trying to make that curve, and they fell into the construction hole there, ended up blocking traffic for some time. The problem is that roadway serves all of the taxis and shuttle buses and rental car bus, and so we had people that were obviously impacted trying to either get away from the terminal or to the terminal in regards to the shuttle bus activity. This happened on a Sunday afternoon, I believe, so there wasn't a lot going on. But I wanted to recognize David Scott and Scott Meek. Both of those guys work in our airport operations department, and really, when we're not around, they are in charge of the airport operations. They were able to get to working with the parking contractor and get some parking shuttle buses and get them operating, so they were able to shuttle passengers to the rental car center and get them back from the rental car center while this construction activity or this incident was being addressed. So just wanted to recognize them for a great job they did in responding to an unplanned incident, which we have plenty of unplanned incidents. And then, Tanya, if you could bring up the next slide. I wanted to just cover a topic here briefly of something that we are dealing with that has really surfaced and has become an issue for us on a daily basis, and that's our parking capacity. If you go to the next slide, please. So this is just a table of our occupancy of our long-term garage, and anything over 80% is yellow, and red, of course, is 95% or above. And you can see spring break, February and spring break, and then May, and then in June, we're seeing it on a regular basis. So we are definitely dealing again with parking capacity issues. I know the airport was dealing with that in 2019. Obviously, COVID impacted all of that, but we seem to be right back where we are at. So I wanted to highlight what we are thinking of as far as addressing this particular issue. Next slide. So this is kind of an overhead of the airport layout, and Shuttle Lot 3 up there in the corner is a current canopy-covered lot, and our plan is to, for Lot 4, is to also put canopies in that. The issue, or what customers are looking for garage parking is convenience, but also protection from the Oklahoma weather. And this was a plan that was put in place pre-COVID with the idea of adding more canopy parking, ultimately adding another parking garage. And if you go to the next slide, Tanya, this kind of shows a layout of the plan, and it's essentially at about a 30% design at this point, and so we're going to pick that up and get that going with the idea of trying to get a canopy lot in place as soon as we can. Keep going there, Tanya. This gives you some more detail of where we're doing, and that is just an example of some of the canopies that are available. Obviously, we already have a lot with that canopy coverage on it, and then keep going, one more slide. That's a cost estimate. That included some things, and this was from several years ago, but just to give you a ballpark idea of what we'd be dealing with here. I think that's probably the last slide. Yep.
So Jeff, could you go back to
Sure.
the parking diagram slide and just show us again which ones you're seeing that,
Go back
like
up
if
to
we
the
go back to
top.
slide 3 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so show us which ones are going to be the ones that we're looking at for canopy.
So it would be Lot 4, right
Just
there.
in Lot 4,
Yeah,
okay.
and so that's an old shuttle, that's an old rental car lot. So really the basic infrastructure is there. The idea would be to add canopies to it. So just to the left of that is the current canopy lot. So it works well operationally, and we feel it would provide, we could get moving on that pretty quickly. Also, we are kicking off and beginning an effort to select an architect to do a parking garage expansion. Of course, that takes some time, of course, to design and ultimately construct a garage. So we feel this would give us some short-term relief to, address the capacity issues that we're dealing with. So.
Jeff, will the new parking garage be right next to C, just going down the line?
Well, so the study that was done in 2018 or 17, I think it was, guys. Yeah, that showed that's where the next garage would go. We're taking a look at that to confirm that, and I think by the time we would have an architect on, we would have that confirmed. One of the things that we're looking at long term is a landside master plan, ultimately looking out 30, 40 plus years, and looking at some concepts of moving the roadway and shallowing out the front and providing more linear frontage in the terminal. All of that kind of goes into play when you're thinking about siting future garages, but that's where the plan shows it for now. So.
What would that benefit making those changes long-term, linear roadways, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that would address the issue that we have with curb capacity right now.
Okay.
Because if you look at the shape of the curve, there isn't much linear frontage by the road, by the terminal building because of the oval shape.
Yeah.
Squaring it off and making it more square gives you more linear frontage for a roadway and more curb capacity, because we have serious backups on the baggage claim roadway. So that's another long-term issue that we're looking at.
Okay. And then, I brought this up at the retreat, but, and I did get a lot of texts and emails during those red times. I don't know if you all heard from people, but my friends now see my picture out there, and so I get nice messages, but very nice messages, just saying, hey, there was nowhere to park at the airport.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing about it?
Right.
And Jeff was really good about responding to those as well. But one thing I brought up at the retreat, remember, was the 1 hour parking lot appears to, for me, at least when I've been up there, it's pretty empty. And that's prime real estate. And
Yeah.
if we could put the canopies up there, you know, we could charge more and provide just, you know, a few more really close spots for our customers and friends.
So what we're planning to do is to come to you guys in July with some adjustments, first of all in rates. So that is an issue. That is a tool you can use to address capacity issues. So the hourly parking, first of all, we have a first hour free and it's $1 an hour. We've done some research for other airports and that is below market for sure. So we plan to bring to you guys for approval some adjustment of those rates, ultimately trying to create more capacity for the people who park and fly out, you know, and just, and so we had a meeting yesterday internally to talk about all the rates that we have and using that as a tool to try to address some of the capacity issues. As far as canopy on that structure, that would require certainly some analysis,
Yeah.
structural analysis,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's a possibility.
Sure, another weight, I get it.
Yeah,
But
so
it's-
really, I think our shortest term way to mitigate this is we're looking at doing some rate adjustments, which we will talk in some detail about that next month. Proceed with this canopy lot, and then in the medium term, over the next 12 months, hopefully we can get something in place if possible, and then proceed with a design for more garage capacity.
Yeah, and maybe just to tell our constituents that you know, instead of calling that hourly parking, just say it's, you know, $40 a day, and the first hour is $5. I mean, I don't know, we're free, but maybe there's something there, you know, to so people will say, okay, I'm going to go park there. It's not just for. They might see it hourly being I can only stay an hour or two versus, oh, I can go park there the whole time. It's just going to be really expensive or a lot more expensive.
I would expect next month, you know, upon the trust approval of the rate changes, we would use that opportunity to, you know, communicate that, you know, in the media and others,
Yeah.
why we're doing it and what we're trying to solve. And so that would give us our opportunity to communicate some of that stuff.
One other little logistical thing I forgot to tell you over the weeks. When you sign up on the website for reserved parking and your plans change, there's no way to go back and get a refund of the $5, which isn't that big of a deal, but it also is no way to tell you guys, hey, I'm not going to be there for a week. You know, and let someone else have it. And I
Right.
know that's kind of a,
Yeah.
there may be a logistical thing there, but on the website, you can't go get your refund and essentially cancel your
Okay.
your reservation. And I mean, I would do it. I would get my $5 back
Yeah.
and then free it up for someone else.
So I'm looking at the staff, so they're shaking their head no. So I think you're right, Bob. That probably is locked in. You can't make that change. We are exploring. So that really is a parking reservation system for that level of parking. We are looking at a parking reservation system for our whole parking product. And that maybe give us the opportunity to have a newer system that would have some of that capability you're talking
Yeah.
about. But the idea of a parking reservation system is, you know, it's one of those anxieties of travel. Am I going to find a parking spot? So
It's great.
Yeah, we have a proposal from our parking operator, and we're reviewing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another tool that we're looking at.
No,
Try
it
to address.
is wonderful, and it does alleviate stress. That would be the only feedback is it'd be nice to be able to cancel it and then open it up for someone else to park there, since they are so limited, those reserve spaces.
They are.
So.
Okay, I think that was what I wanted
Is that
to
it?
cover. Yep.
All right, thank you. Brings us to item 4 on the agenda, the Will Rogers World Airport. Director Mulder?
Sure. Item A is final acceptance of the TRB cooling tower replacement at Mike Maroney. Item B is Amendment 1 for the professional service agreement with Mead and Hunt, Terminal Area Master Plan. Item C is Amendment 1 with Olson for the South Campus asphalt paving repairs. Item D is Amendment 1 with Crossland Heavy Contractors for landside wayfinding. Item E is Amendment 2 with Olson for repair of Mike Monroney Boulevard. Item F is Amendment 3 with First Water Contracting and final acceptance of completed project. Item G is Amendment 3 with Allegiant Airlines LLC. Item H is Amendment 4 with DeWitt Construction for rehabilitation, reconstruction of runway 1331. Item I is Change Order 8 with Wind Construction, terminal building roof repairs and replacement to increase 89 calendar days. Item J is Supplement 5 with ABM Aviation to exercise second 2-year renewal option. Item K is resolution rejecting bids for old ARF building roof replacement and for authorization for advertisement for new bids. Item L is reimbursement agreement with Phillips 66 Carrier LLC to relocate equipment servicing the airport's fuel farm in an estimated amount of $974,529. Item M is resolution authorizing Guernsey to design and provide professional engineering and project for walkway modernization. Item N is Amendment 1 to the fuel services agreement with Glen Oil Company. Item O is Amendment 2 to lease agreement with Metro Technology Centers to exercise the second of 9 successive 1-year option periods and to adjust other terms and conditions as agreed to by the parties.
Do we have any questions or comments? If not, we can take a motion. There's a motion and a second. Please vote. And the item passes. Brings us to item 5 on the agenda, Wiley Post Airport.
Item A is resolution approving a contract for professional services with KSA Engineers, design services for construct new air traffic control tower. Item B is assumption and assignment agreement for PWA hangar unit 2400.
Any comments or questions? Nope. We can take a motion. Please vote. And the item passes. Brings us to item 6, Clarence E. Page Airport.
Item A is resolution authorizing services with Lochner to design and provide engineering and project management for runway 17 right, 35 left, PAPI and wind cone rehabilitation. Item B is assignment assumption for Block 1, Lot 4 lease agreement at Clarence Page.
Any questions? We can take a motion. Please vote. And the item passes. Brings us to item 7 on the agenda, general items.
Item A is an audit contract with Allen Gibbs and Hulick for the annual audit. Item B is resolution providing authority to the municipal counselor's office to settle, release, prosecute, or defend claims or lawsuits of the Oklahoma City Airport Trust in an amount not to exceed $50,000. Item C is resolution approving purchase of janitorial supplies. Item D is approved manual for electric and street lighting maintenance repairs and authorization for advertisement for bids.
All right, we can take a motion on these items. We have a motion and a second. And the item passes. Brings us to item 8 on the agenda, easements.
Mr. Chairman, item A is an easement for 4101 Southwest 127th Street. Item B is an easement for various lots, Block 8 and Block 9, the preserve at Parkside, Phase 3. Item C is an easement for Block 8, Lot 12, Block 9 at Parkside, Phase 3. Item D is an easement for 14,100 South Meridian Avenue. Item E is an easement for 3,000 South Ann Arbor Avenue and 3016 South Ann Arbor Avenue. Item F is an easement for 7720 Northwest 85th Terrace. Item G is an easement 4133 Southwest 127th Street. Item H is an easement 119th and MacArthur Boulevard, Manning Estates, Section 1.
Thank you. We can take a motion on those items. A Have a motion and a second, please vote. The item passes. Brings us to item 9 on the agenda, requisitions. Oh, on the requisitions, we have item A is a resolution ratifying the actions of the Director of Airports and approving requisitions previously paid, and item B, resolution approving requisitions dated June 22nd, 2023. Are there any questions or comments? If not, we can take a motion. Have a motion and a second, please vote. The item passes. Brings us to item 10 on the agenda. Any comments from trustees? Any comments from staff? Have any citizens signed up to speak? Nope. If not, that takes us to item 11 on the agenda. We are adjourned.